Is there such a thing as the world's safest aircraft? This question can be answered if we understand what is meant by aircraft safety. For the average person, not familiar with the details of air travel, the most reliable aircraft is the one with the least amount of accidents. What is a safety record? This is the ratio of number of accidents to the total hours flying. And this is how all ratings work. And according to multiple ratings, the Boeing 777 proudly holds the honorary title of the world's safest airplane. Here are a few interesting facts about this airliner. The famous Boeing crosses the skies over the entire world, but in its 20 million flight hours, the 777 hasn't had a single crash, nor has it been involved in accidents with human casualties, with the exception of terrorist attacks or dispatcher errors. This is a wide-body airliner designed for long-haul flights. The family of Boeing 777s came into service in 1995. The Boeing 777 holds the record for longest flight among passenger aircraft. As of today, 748 similar airliners have been built. This is one of the first airplanes from the Boeing aircraft manufacturing company equipped with the fly-by-wire digital control system. It's also the first commercial passenger aircraft developed with computer technology. During its entire development period, not a single paper drawing was produced. Everything was prepared using a 3D design system, known today as CATIA. The aircraft was pre-assembled on a computer, which allowed a number of mistakes to be avoided during production. In addition, liquid crystal displays were installed in the cockpit, replacing the older instrument panel. Unlike the side sticks in an Airbus, this airliner uses traditional yokes for its main controls. This type of aircraft can carry between 305 and 550 passengers, depending on the configuration of the cabin. They have a flight range of up to 17,500 kilometers. The Boeing 777 set the all-time record for distance flown in a passenger airplane, 21,601 kilometers, from Hong Kong to London. Design and production. Initially, Boeing planned to use the 767 as the basis and redesign it, which led to the concept of the so-called 767X. It resembled the old 767 in many ways, but it had an elongated fuselage, increased wing area, and could transport around 340 passengers a distance of up to 13,500 kilometers. But airlines weren't satisfied. They wanted an aircraft capable of flying not only transcontinental flights, but also shorter distances, with a cabin configuration similar to the Boeing 747, which could furthermore be modified by adding or removing the necessary number of seats from one of the classes. The process of designing the 777 was in stark contrast to Boeing's previous experience. For the first time in the company's history, 8 major airlines took part in designing an airplane, offering their recommendations as help. These were All Nippon Airways, American Airlines, British Airways, Cathay Pacific Airways, Delta Airlines, Japan Airlines, Qantas, and United Airlines. The process itself involved creating a work group called Working Together, who met for the first time in January of 1990. Airlines created a list of recommendations based on their own requirements and passenger surveys. In March of 1990, the work group came to a decision about the basic configuration of the aircraft. The cockpit should be unified with the Boeing 747 and equipped with liquid crystal displays and fly-by-wire controls. And the fuel efficiency of the aircraft had to be 10% better than that of the competition, the A330 and the MD-11. An unprecedented number of subcontractors from all over the world took part in the production of the Boeing 777. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and Kawasaki Heavy Industries provided the fuselage panels, Fuji Heavy Industries Ltd. provided the central wing section, Lockheed Havian provided the elevators, Aerospace Technology of Australia provided the rudder, and so on. As far as the engines, 3 companies, General Electric, Pratt & Whitney, and Rolls-Royce, immediately offered their services. Each of the manufacturers undertook the development of an engine with a power of 77,000 pounds, 340 kilonewtons, and higher. To begin production of the 777, Boeing had to practically double their factory space in the city of Everett. This cost the company almost $1.5 billion. The new spaces were built with 2 assembly lines, which allowed the plane's fuselage to be rotated 180 degrees. They began building the first Boeing 777 on January 4, 1993. At that time, There were already 118 firm orders for the aircraft from 10 airlines. Total investment in the program amounted to over $4 billion. The Boeing 777 became the second largest airplane in the Boeing fleet after the flagship 747. More importantly, the 777 became the company's most profitable airliner. From 1995 to 2000, profits from its sales amounted to around $400 million. In 2004, the aircraft took in more revenue than the 747 and the 767 combined. By the end of 2011, the FAA assigned the 777 and the 787 the same type rating. Thanks to their unified cabins, pilots can receive qualifications working in both models. It is possible that in the future, 777 planes will be replaced by Boeing's new family of airliners, the Yellowstone 3, which is based on Boeing 787 technology. Let's now look at the secret of this aircraft's safety. First of all, the airframe design includes the use of composite materials, which make up 9% of the structure's weight. These materials are used for the cabin floor and controls, rudder, elevators, ailerons, etc. The main part of the fuselage is round, and transitions in the back to a blade-like tail cone, where the auxiliary power unit is located. Second of all, the Boeing 777 has a supercritical airfoil, optimized for a cruising speed of m equals 0.83. After testing, this indicator was increased to m equals 0.84. The wing construction is thicker and has more scope than that of previous airliners. This allowed for increased distance and payload, improved flight performance, as well as a higher cruising altitude. In fact, when starting this aircraft project, it was suggested to develop a folding wing so that airlines could use hangars for small aircraft, but no airline agreed to this option. Third of all, the airliner also has the largest landing gear and the largest tires ever used in a commercial jet airliner. Each tire from the 777-300ER's main 6-wheel landing gear can support a load of 27 tons. Fourth of all, the aircraft has 3 backup hydraulic systems, only one of which is needed for landing. Fifth of all, an emergency aircraft turbine is located in the wing fairing under the fuselage. This is a small wind generator that emerges from the aircraft during an emergency situation to ensure the minimum power supply. But that's not all. We should also mention the features of the passenger cabin. The number of seats and their position in the Boeing 777's cabin can be changed. That's why the layout of the airliner depends on the preferences of the airline operating it. If the air carrier doesn't divide the cabin into classes, it can hold up to 550 people. With 3 classes, the passenger capacity on board is from 305 people and higher, depending on the requirements of the carrier company. Business class. Based on their comfort and position in the cabin, the best seats are in business class. They can take up to 5 rows, and are laid out mainly with 2 seats on each side and 2 in the middle. The wide seats have increased comfort, can transform into beds, and are equipped with a convenient tray table. Located on the back of the seats, you have multimedia screens, and there is plenty of space between the rows and between the seats themselves. Comfort class. This class is between business and economy. It offers less comfort than first class, but more than second class. The seats in this class are positioned with 2 on each side and 4 in the middle. There are 5 rows in total. The distance between the seats and rows is less than in business class, but more than in economy. Economy class takes up the majority of the seats on the aircraft. There are 3 seats on the sides and 4 in the middle. In the tail section, the aircraft narrows slightly, with 2 seats along the sides. The size of the seats are determined according to a standard, and the distance in the aisles is 81 centimeters. How does the crew relax? This is important to consider, especially during long-haul flights, some of which can last up to 18 hours. At the front of the airplane, under the first-class section of the cabin, the Boeing 777 has a compartment for pilots to rest in. The rest area for the flight attendants is located in the space between the passenger cabin and the fuselage, but in the back of the plane. And at the end of the video, we have an interesting fact for you about the Boeing 777. All Nippon Airways started offering lunch on board a Boeing 777 parked at Tokyo's Haneda Airport. The service is now called the Restaurant with Wings. Guests can select to have lunch in first class for $540, or in business class $270. The idea came from the airline's employees, who wanted to make more efficient use out of the aircraft when not in flight. The first lunch took place in December of 2020, And over the last 2 years, 264,000 lunches have been served, for a total of $1.8 million. What a success! A great business idea, right? Development prospects. Boeing is constantly improving and expanding their models, and plans to launch a new generation of airliners, which will surpass all previous models of their brand and competing models in size, power, and reduced operation costs. This will be the Boeing 777X. It's expected to begin operating commercially in the very near future. The new model will extend to 69.55 meters, with a takeoff weight of up to 315 tons. The airliner will have a passenger capacity of 353 people. It will become a direct competitor to the Airbus 350-900. The 777-9X modification is being developed to improve the 777-300ER. It will extend to 76.5 meters, and its takeoff weight will equal 344 tons. It will have a capacity of 407 passengers. The model will become a direct competitor to the modern A350-1000. The future Boeing 777-8XL will displace the 777-200LR. It will have the same fuselage size and weight, but all of its technical characteristics have yet to be made available to the public. All future models will have new engines with increased thrust and large diameter fans, which are considered to be the largest in the world. Friends, let us know in the comments what airliners you'd want to hear about next time. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Press the bell to catch new videos first, and see you next time. Thank you for watching and commenting. Pancake, everyone!